All right, we're here today to give this brand new Jet 20-inch planer a try. What makes this particular machine special is the coating that comes on the infeed and outfeed beds here. And it is designed to reduce friction. Obviously, there's less fighting on the machine if you don't have friction, or you do not have to apply any mold release or wood glide to your surfaces. One other major pro to this special jet black coating is that it prohibits the buildup of rust and discoloration. So therefore you don't have any iron deposits transferring over to the material that you're running through. Let's say you don't use this machine for a couple months, but you live in a really high humidity stricken area. You're going to have issues if you don't constantly wax these tabletops. And then certain woods, such as white oak, that has a high tannin content, if that comes in contact with the steel, that can potentially stain that wood. So this kind of stops that whole entire problem from happening. So I think this is a great advancement in the woodworking industry. Like I said, it is a 20-inch, has a helical head. This thing's ready to rock and roll. I want to give it a try. This thing seems really badass, and I'm excited. So let's give it a rip. That was a really nice experience, actually. What a beautiful finish. Very little chipping. Any of the chipping that is in here now is the temperament of the wood. So with the jet black coating on here, it automatically felt different. There was no pushback. There wasn't even a touch of resistance. With this particular material, if I would have had any sort of iron oxide on the table of another planer, or that wasn't waxed or didn't have a mold release on it, my potential of transfer with iron oxide to this high tannin wood is going to promote staining. With this finish on here, you absolutely don't have to worry about that at all. Totally happy with it. It had more than enough power to get through this white oak board. 15 inches wide. I would have never got it through my other planer. The fact that the nice infeed and outfeed beds are as long as that they are, that really makes a difference too. From the side take here, it looks there is 4 feed rates, so I have an option to slow it down even more. I want to try another board through it, which has a little bit more figure to it. Let's see how that turns out. Well, that was another really good experience. So this is a piece of extremely hard, dense, old growth. This stuff was buried in the ground for about 150 years. This is yellow birch, and it's a real gnarly piece. But one thing is, this thing effortlessly cut through this material without tearing the grain apart. I've got a lot of different grains going in all different directions here, and everything is nice and flat and machined really well. It's ready for sanding. I could start sanding with 120 right away and have it almost all right there with little effort. So that's number one good thing. We got a lot of power. And with that cutter head and that power match, I think is great. But the biggest advantage of this machine that I noticed so far is not having to work with any mold release. This board isn't straight. So as it goes through, it has to be pushed and manipulated to one side so that it can plane the entire board evenly. And one thing that I noticed now with this jet black coating is that it makes that so much easier. Being able to just turn this board through and run this shape through this planer, is a complete game changer now because I have a ton of boards that this applies to. So not having to add mold release, not having to worry about iron oxide transfer. We've eliminated that need for wood glide or need for the mold release. And following its curvature is another really, really nice feature that this jet black coating provides. I think this is a game changer. And Jet, you did an awesome job on it. And I can't wait to use this thing in all my projects.